While the original 1974 Black Christmas is a classic, the 2006 version still serves a purpose by allowing all people to come together during the holidays to say, at least it's better than the 2019 one. The film was written and directed by Glen Morgan, who had previously made the 2003 remake of Willard, and with this film he set out to make a respectful remake of the original film, which would have paid tribute to Bob Clark's horror classic and slasher films in general. Plus, in writing the film, he took inspiration from real-life serial killer Edmund Kemper. But not all of that came through in the final product due to so many clashes between the producers and the film's director over the film's tone and ending, which resulted in a ton of reshoots, different cuts of the movie, and a trailer that doesn't even feature scenes from the film. The movie was a production nightmare that remained largely forgotten due to the original film still holding up to this day. Though it did carry on the tradition of causing a controversy from religious groups who got all up in arms about such a violent movie being released on Christmas Day. Luckily, this was still back in the day when we just ignored bullshit outrages. Now let's see who brought us this severed eyeball as a replacement for coal in our stockings. Yeah, no shit. Sorority houses, where there's plenty of items just laying around waiting to be used as slasher weapons. This movie still gets Christmas right. You gotta get good and drunk. Naturally, there's a killer somewhere in here. Could he be in the closet? Or could he have shrunk down and jumped down there? Oh, come on, the scissors were right there! Meanwhile, at Smith's Arkham Grove, where things may be dark and grungy, but they still get into the spirit of Christmas with cookies, milk, and a wreath that none of the patients will see. And in case they escape, best leave them with some slasher killer gloves and boots, and a robe for this guy.
Happy birthday.
Behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem saying, "Well,
at least one of the patients is trying to keep the Christ in Christmas. They even have someone dressed as Santa. That way a 40-year-old mental patient will have a lap to shit on when he's asking for a Tonka truck for his ass. Now we begin hearing the story of Billy Lenz, who was abused by his mother, and something, just pretend he's the killer from either Pieces or Don't Go in the House. Billy tries to escape every year to be home for Christmas. What is this, a Jingle Bell Halloween? I think Michael Myers and Billy together could form as one and make Jack Skellington.
Kyle, it's late.
But enough about that! Like in the original, things are interrupted by strange phone calls.
Hello.
J-I-M-G-L-E. Great, Frank Sinatra's drunk dialing again. There's plenty of familiar faces here at the sorority house. There's Mary Elizabeth Die Hard 4 Isn't a Christmas Movie, Harriet Trachtenberg the Spy, and the Queen of Christmas herself, Lacey Chabert. I really wish this movie would get mixed in during a marathon of all of her Hallmark Christmas movies. It does, ironically, make sense her being here. Bob Clark directed the original, who would go on to make a family Christmas movie. This one co-stars Lacey Chabert, who also goes on to make lighthearted Christmas films. I'm sure the girls will be safe. Billy's locked in tight. No, don't open that. Shit, I knew we shouldn't have left him in the room that had a giant hole in it. The original movie had such mystery to its unknown killer. And here, oh, there he is. Ugh, who produced this movie anyway? Uh-oh. Wait, that's the producer Glen Morgan fought with? Oh, why wouldn't you trust Weinstein's slasher movie wisdom? After all, he produced Halloween Resurrection. These kills are starting fast. The killer didn't even stop first to grab a limited edition Arby's deep fried turkey sandwich. He wants to taunt these girls right away. He's got plenty of Christmases to make up for, and we gotta get to the whole dead body in the attic thing.
What are you doing?
Could you not do that? How is Claire supposed to answer what she's doing? Whoa, wait a minute. Billy's still at the hospital? How can this be? Because there's two killers. Oh, what do you mean it's from the producers of Scream? Also, Santa has the blood shits. The girls have a tradition of having a stocking for Billy, and someone has a problem with that? If we can't use the Lord's birthday to honor mass murderers, what the hell else do we do on Christmas aside tell horror stories?
Billy lived here.
That's a dog turd. Now we flash back to 1970. No, go to 1974. That's when the better movie is.
Billy Edward Lenz was born with a rare liver disease that gave him yellow skin.
So it's Sin City now? The parents do not want Billy, and they are prepared to out-bah-humbug each other. Ugh, just get to the part where they toss him off a bridge and he grows up to become the Penguin. They may live in a big house, but they're still so broke that Billy also has to be the family dog. Billy then witnesses his father being murdered and has to be imprisoned in the attic before asking, why be cheap with the plastic bags when you could spring for some wrapping paper? That shows that you care. Anyway, really girls, you should already know this story. We have a tradition of Billy stockings. How the hell do you not know who he is? But there's gonna be at least one of them who gets him confused with that other Christmas Billy horror movie. Oh, don't worry, it's still a Black Christmas remake, hence the phone calls.
You want a Christmas cookie? You're my cookie, and I could gobble you up.
Maybe we shouldn't honor Billy the Killer anymore. Another thing it has in common with the original is that the characters are still getting shit-faced when mixed in with other movies.
Give it to Billy.
See, now it's turning into She's All That. But back to the flashbacks, what a random structure this movie has. You can't tell this was carelessly assembled in the editing room. There's no rhyme or reason to these flashbacks. Let's just insert Billy's horny mom raping Billy, and then boom, incest baby is born. Well, now that Flowers in the Attic is done, Eve here leaves before she could get her gift of a red herring. It's going to be very easy for the killer to randomly pick off these girls. Aside from the drunk one, they have no distinct personalities and are completely interchangeable. How would the killer even know who to prank call?
I'm going to bury the hatchet in your head.
That was not Megan.
What? Really? Maybe it's this guy. Hey girls, did someone order a shitty boyfriend to get killed later? Oliver Hudson plays, I don't know, let's call him Kyle Gyllenhaal. What's his story?
You mean after he washed down his Christmas cookies with a glass of milk?
Never mind, let's go back to Billy imprisoned in the attic and the incest baby. Points to this movie for going full sleaze, but all of these flashbacks are like watching the flashbacks in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 if Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 never existed. Thank God the Weinsteins didn't give studio notes on A Christmas Story, or Ralphie's fantasy sequences would have been extremely graphic. No, he's killing his gross family. I wish this movie was in 3D. As if that wasn't gruesome enough, let's Texas Chainsaw Christmas this and have him make Christmas cookies out of his mom's skin, which he then eats. He'll be fine. He's off to Bob Clark's Sanitarium, made for people who went crazy after repeat viewings of Rhinestone. Anyway, girls, after that extra dose of cannibalism and my incest story, who wants to have sex with me? Oh right, Claire's sister is there to look for her, after her dad was busy still stuck in line buying gift cards at Target. Either this is leading to where the killer is hiding, or they're subtly wanting me to watch something else. Great, Andy Dufresne is the killer. But oh my God, Billy is leaving behind his old presents. No, that's not what's on the box, and it's way too late for returns! I feel like I'm getting to know these characters a little better now. See, I've also had way too much Rumplemints. Oh, and there's also a sex tape subplot. Now it has porn! This is hitting all of the exploitation marks.
Am I gonna show up on there? Isn't sex enough, Kyle? You need little visual trophies to get your throat.
Shut the fuck up!
Whatever. Get back to the plot that I care about. That's right. Whether or not drunk girl can make it to the toilet. Now let's take a break as we ponder whether or not this movie will feature shit-eating, piss-drinking, or sucking brains through a plastic straw.
And now it's time for What If It Exploded, hosted by Lloyd. And this has been What If It Exploded, hosted by me, Lloyd.
Now that we're back, let's wipe your head down and get you something greasy to eat. You know what else I like about this?
You're a better sister to me than my own sister.
Yeah, and Dick Cheney's a better sister to you than your sister.
Timeless.
But while they accidentally start remaking other Bob Clark movies like Porky's, we should check in on the other girls.
What? I'm not the totally helpless daddy's girl these bitches make me out to be.
A Bitch's Christmas, coming this Sunday to Hallmark. Seriously, I've watched 20 Lacey Chabert Christmas movies, just waiting for one of them to feature her just lighting up a cigarette halfway through. Or this. I would have been very surprised if that happened in Christmas at Pemberley Manor. Especially because she wasn't even in that one. Part of me wonders if you stopped this movie now and put on the second half of the Sorority Row remake, if anyone would even notice. By the way, Billy is calling to say that Agnes, the incest baby, is the second killer. Oh no, we're not supposed to find that out till later. Instead, let's run outside and get some use out of that fake snow we paid for. Plus, the severed head came with the fake snow.
He's out here.
Again, thanks.
On the bright side, the phone works. The downside, the cops don't give a shit. They don't want to walk into another to all a good night situation. That would be embarrassing for all. You girls are on your own. So they argue about whether they should try leaving in the car or stay in the house, where a slasher bad Ronald can just pop up out of nowhere. Listen to Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was in the Thing prequel, so do the most stupid thing you can think of that's wildly inferior to the previous. I like the added touch that even when a killer is chasing you, Winter will still find ways to be the bigger pain in the ass. And that's with exploding blood airbags, and that's not even the silliest part of the scene. That death happened regardless of there being a killer. Speaking of the killer, could that be Agnes? Maybe. I'm not sure who it is, but I know one thing. She's got a mean ice skate throwing arm. Plus she knows the perfect cure for a hangover. Death. Now that Eve is dead, Kyle's gotta burst back in here to be another red herring. He had to loan the professor some money for an abortion. This is really gonna put a damper on things when they hang up Billy's stocking for Christmas next year. You know, they could just run outside and bolt like crazy, but no, there's way more dark spaces to check out. I don't think Kyle's the killer. This is a movie for everyone who thought the original would have been way better if they discovered Claire's body and we see the killers, complete with one-liners, cannibalism, and a giant fight in the attic with more exposition. That's right, fake eyeball. That means the second killer is Agnes, the incest sister-daughter, because it's important that it's also a slasher movie take on Chinatown? But don't forget Bart Simpson is still hiding in the walls. I don't even need to be watching this part of the movie. Before it even started, I could tell you it was going to end with a giant fire getting started in the sorority house and the girls having to escape while the killers are possibly burnt alive. Well, I guess the movie's over. Wait, there's 15 minutes left? Movie, you're too drunk. I'm cutting you off. We needed the extra scene of the coroner getting killed, since where Black Christmas ends, Friday the 13th, the final chapter begins. Why do I have the feeling another studio note was just get this movie to 90 minutes by any means necessary, and if you don't have enough kills, just cut to some shots of a TV playing Knights in White Satin. It worked for Rob Zombie. Hopefully the St. Reshoots Hospital covers her insurance. The original ending was supposed to end more subtle, with the survivors getting a phone call from maybe Billy, who was supposed to be dead. But shock to the face, I think that might be better. What else do you got? Nelson Muntz being beaten with a crutch, getting warmer. Impaled by Christmas tree. Why, Dimension Films, you've done something again. Although props for not having a cliffhanger ending, I'll give you that. It is wrapped up in a giant impaled bow. Boy, critics didn't like this one, and neither did the audience, especially when compared to the influential original film. But looking at it now, 14 years later, I'll say this about it. It's not scary, it's not suspenseful, some of it's unintentionally funny, and the characters are terribly written with no personalities, but there are things that carry it. It is so unapologetically sleazy, it near rivals an Italian giallo film in the sleaze department. And it does deliver the slasher goods, with very over-the-top kills, right down to a Christmas tree being decorated in eyeballs and severed heads. Some movies would stop at the incest. This movie continues with human flesh sugar cookies. If it's scares you want, the original has that. If it's pure exploitation you want, that's what this one's for. Which is a lot more than I can say about the PG-13 latest film, which was just a Trojan horsed college lecture that I'd sneak into just to take a nap before my next class. And this has been another episode of Killing Time Before a Wrestling Christmas Miracle comes out. What gives? You were supposed to be out last weekend. I am waiting patiently for a wrestling Christmas miracle.
Fuck you, Santa Claus.